It is my delight to introduce first Mohamad Nasser Eddine from the Canada Foundation for Innovation. And he is the Vice President of Programs and Planning. I will say that as someone working in the USA, I am really rather envious of what's going on in Canada regarding funding. It seems to be quite amazing to me. The way they are funding these infrastructure programs is very impressive. And he's served as the Director of Programs, as Acting Vice President. Now he's the Vice President of Programs and Planning. Prior to this, he was Director of the Office of Strategic Development Initiatives at the University of Ottawa, where he was responsible for the university's portfolio there, and also for institutional core facilities. And he is a scientist in training himself, but like Graham, he also has an MBA, which gives him a good background. So we're thrilled to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I will try to focus without looking to the lights, but I'm really delighted to be here with you today. And thank you for the invitation. When I spoke to Claire at first, she said that, you know, maybe this conference could be a good platform to talk about how CFI, how the Canada Foundation for Innovation support core facilities, and how the CFI evolved that mandate to meet the emerging needs of the community. And sitting here all day and listening to different presentations and all the great work that you do, it's really heartwarming to see all the wonderful things and great work that you all do, and how the community, the global community, came together to really work together to support each other. It's really great. I always thought that, you know, CFI is doing a wonderful job, but, you know, beyond that, I think you're doing a fantastic job. So thank you for the invitation. Since it's an international crowd, I think it's important maybe to give you a quick overview on how research is supported in Canada. So we have different funding agencies, so 3 councils that support the different disciplines: social science and humanities, one; health, another one; natural science and engineering, another one. And then there's a 4th pillar, which is the CFI, which support all the research infrastructure needs of all communities, all disciplines. CFI was created 28 years ago by the federal government. Back in the time, we were giving the mandate to fill the gap that existed in research infrastructure, and then to retain the best talent in the country. And then the mandate got renewed over time. But what happens is that our mandate evolved and changed, because when you talk about research infrastructure back in the days, it was only equipment and space to host the equipment, and that's it. Now, if you ask me about how do we define research infrastructure nowadays, well, I can tell you that it's this, plus the talent that's also important to operate and maintain the infrastructure, and to get the best, you know, the best return on investment, and that's also the data that's associated with it. So the mandate, you know, evolved within the last, I would say, last 28 years to respond to this kind of emerging needs, and then to provide a better support to our community. And then in 28 years, a lot of things changed too. Now that you know my background, I'm hesitant about, I mean, should I talk about just the funding agency, or should I go back a little bit to give you kind of an idea on how things evolved? Since we're talking about core facilities, when I was at the University of Ottawa and I was asked to address the sustainability issue of facilities, in 2010, we were, I think, the first university in the country that wanted to tackle this issue, because researchers kept coming to us saying, you know, infrastructure are falling apart, we do not have proper support, and so on. So we had to put a program to support core facilities. And back in the time, we received a lot of resistance at the university level. Back in the time, we had some researchers that I call the machine huggers. So this is my equipment. I was able to get the funding for it. That's, you know, it's me who decide who use it, up until they realize that it's too expensive to operate, and then up until they realize that without the institutional support, they cannot get the money, and then they cannot get the support that they needed. And then slowly, I think that mindset shifted. And I think at this point, I can tell you that, you know, based on what we see at institutions, people are, you know, want to get their analysis done fast. in a reliable way and in a way that, that they can access freely. So what we've seen a kind of this kind of democratization of access happening, which is a fantastic thing. Now, how can you respond to this as a funding agency? So we've reached out to all the, the community from across the country, and we said, okay, so we support you for the research infrastructure. At a certain point, you told us that we need to revisit our programs to not only support the shiny, the sexy type of infrastructure, the cutting edge infrastructure, because you need also some workhorses at your core facility. We changed that eligibility criteria. But then they told us, well, that's great, but look at your funding mechanism. It's not adapted for core facilities. You still ask us to define a very specific project based on which we will be assessed. But you know what? At these core facilities, we support hundreds of research projects. So maybe you should kind of amend, or you should change the way you evaluate us on if we come to you and ask for equipment for renewal of these core facilities, which we ended up doing. So in the last Innovation Fund competition, the Innovation Fund 2025, for which decisions will be made in December, first week of December, we will commit $550 million. With the matching from a province, that's an investment of $1 billion that's offered every 2 years. There is a special stream that was created for core facilities, because we feel that strategically it's the right thing to do. It's bringing a lot of economy of scale. It's avoiding the duplication. It's enabling this kind of democratization of access. And it's also, it's a test bed for a lot of innovative projects. And in creating that stream, yes, we are in the business of research infrastructure, but now we're allowing institutions to come and claim the salaries of the managers and of the technicians that are also part of the optimum of making sure that these facilities are optimally used. So that's a step beyond our comfort zone, because we are, based on our mandate, we are a research infrastructure. But when we understood the intimate relationship between the capital investment and human investment, or human capital investment, we thought that this is the right thing to do. So we've done it. And also the other thing that is interesting about this stream is that when it comes the time to present the team that is associated with this request, well, you need to also demonstrate that you have the expertise, scientific and technical expertise, which allows also the managers and technicians to be part of those teams, which bring in that recognition to the talent that exists at these facilities. And on the short term, I think, we would be helping the institutions with addressing partially the sustainability issue that all our institutions are dealing with. But I think in the medium to long term, I think it would allow us also to consolidate and to reinforce our mandate in terms of not only providing the research infrastructure, but also the research services that are important for thousands of researchers across the country. So I think what I'm saying here, it's a no-brainer for us as a funding agency. I think at a certain point is just to, I think the only question remaining at this point, what's kind of the right ratio between capital and O&M that one needs to support. So in a nutshell, I think that's kind of where we're coming from, how our mandate evolved, and where we are at this point. And we're very proud with this kind of last addition to our funding programs, and very happy to take any questions when we get to that point. Thank you.